Today, I am sharing 4 DIY home decor ideas using pizza pans, and I think you're going to be surprised by what comes next. Hi, I'm Loli. Let's create something beautiful and find a little joy along the way. For this project, we'll be using one of these pizza pans from the Dollar Tree. We will be removing the paper and this extremely sticky goo that it comes with also. Then we're gonna go ahead and sand it down with our zip sander, both the inside, the edges, and the back of the entire pizza pan. Then we're gonna wipe everything down with a wet wipe and dry it. Next, using a drill, I'm going to add 2 holes on the top section of the lip here of the pizza pan. And I'm going to just do it a little bit off my table here so I don't put a hole on my table. It was a bit sharp, so I just used my needleless pliers to remove the sharpness and repeated the same thing on the other side. Now we're going to paint it with 2 coats of Rust-Oleum black chalk paint. And then I'm going to bring in some of these beads that I got from Hobby Lobby for 50 cents on clearance. We are going to use some of those beads right here as a hanger. I didn't love that twine, so I'm going to use ribbon instead. I'm going to thread my beads through that ribbon and then tie it onto the pizza pan using the holes we created. My friend, if you're enjoying today's video, please make sure that you hit that like button, and while you're there, subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified each time I upload a new video. All these things are free and they mean the world to me. Thank you so much. All right, and what I did to this side, I did to the other as well. Next, I took this mirror from the Dollar Tree. I love the design on it. I'm going to attach it to the middle of my pizza pan using a combination of E6000 and hot glue. The E6000 is for that permanent hole, and the hot glue is so it can be attached right away. Dollar Tree carries a variety of these mirrors in different colors, so if you make this, you have a lot of different ways you can customize it to your liking. I absolutely love this design. And to make it a little bit more cohesive, I came in with some of this gold rub and buff, and I'm going to add it all along the lip of the pizza pan. And that is it for this one. Let me know what you think. For this project, we'll be using 2 of these pizza pans. Of course, we're going to remove the packaging from it and the glue as well. I'm going to just go ahead and clean them very well. And then I'm going to put one on top of the other. Then I'm going to take a large drill bit and we are going to drill 3 holes on 3 different sections of the pizza pans. And note that here I'm holding both of the pizza pans, one inside of the other, so the holes will be even on both of the pizza pans. And I also created one here directly parallel from the first one, and then one in the top in between the other 2 to make it a triangle. The holes ended up pretty sharp, so I took my needle nose pliers, and here I'm trying to bend this inward and remove any sharp edges, and then I just twisted my needle nose pliers in the hole to remove more of that sharpness. And I did that with all 3 of them. Now we are going to take them outside and paint them. I painted the top of one and the bottom of the other because they will be sandwiched against each other. But before we sandwich them, I'm going to take some of these beads that I got from Hobby Lobby for 50 cents. They were originally $5, but I got them 90% off. And I'm going to get a section that will be long enough to go around the entire pizza pan lip right here. And once I was happy with the amount, I'm going to just go ahead and cut the twine that in a way that is long enough that I'm able to tie these 2 together. So here I had this side tied, so I'm just going to go ahead and unravel that. And then I'm going to tie the 2 pieces together, making sure that they're nice and tight. And I'm holding that first knot that I did very tightly because I want it to stay like this. So that way the beads will stay in place as you see there when it's time to attach them. And I did a double knot and cut off the excess twine. And to make sure that everything stayed secure, I just added a small amount of hot glue onto that knot as well. Now it's time to put this together. To do that, I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue. I'm going to start by adding the E6000 in different intervals here on the lip of the pizza pan. And then once I went all the way around, I'm going to come in with my hot glue and add hot glue in the areas in which I did not add any of the E6000. And I quickly position my beads right back where they were, so that way we can position them before the hot glue dries. However, there was a couple sections where the hot glue did dry, so I'm coming in and heating up those sections, trying to melt the glue once again so I can press it down and have everything full nice and flat. But that was a mistake. But I'll tell you again later what happened. For now, I'm going to add some E6000 to the top of the beads like I did on the lip, and hot glue in the sections in which I did not add any E6000, so I am able to attach this. I'm using a lot less hot glue this part around because we don't want any issues. So here you see I kind of burned my pizza pan. There you can see the yellow end, so I had to go back out after I clamped it and paint it again. And while I waited for that to dry, I'm going to take some of this macrame cord from the Dollar Tree, and I cut 6 pieces of cord about 30 inches long and folded them as you see there, so the edges will match. And I'm going to take 3 pairs of it, and we're going to create a braid. I started here by just putting the cord here by the bent edge. I taped it down with some masking tape. That did not work. I keep forgetting that masking tape does not attach to my rubber mat that I have here on my table. So I ended up looping it onto a contraption I have on my table instead, and then braided it as you see here. Here I'm just showing you how I braided. I took 2 strands and kept it together as one, and then used the other 2 strands to create the braid. So I'm braiding this as you see there, 2 strands in one and 1 in the other 2. And I just kept going this until I went all the way down. Once I got to the end here, I'm going to take the 2 pieces that are individual, and once they are across from each other on the outsides of the braid, I'm going to just tie them together so nothing becomes unraveled. And I repeated this 3 times. Next, I took a skewer, and I'm going to loop the skewer onto the top section or the loops of each one of these strands we created. And I'm going to tape it down using some masking tape. This is so I'm able to feed these through the holes of the 2 pizza pans here, and it's easy for me to loop it from one pizza pan to the other, and I just did that with all 3 pieces. Next, I'm going to remove all the tape from all of them, and I'm going to take this hook that I had left over from a chain link set from the Dollar Tree, one of those hanging chain links for planters, and I'm going to loop each one of those loops that I have for the strands right into that little loop in the bottom, and I have here a hanger. But we can't lift quite yet. The bottom is still undone. So here I'm going to start by figuring out exactly how much of that hanger I want at the top, or at what level I want the pizza pan to be. And once I figure that out, I'm going to flip this over and do a knot on the bottom here, marking that spot. Then I'm going to flip it over again and see how much I need to bring down or bring up my twine for the other 2 pieces to make everything level. And once I figure that out, I knotted the other 2 at that level as well until all 3 pieces were completely secure at the same level. And you think that I'm done, but no, I wanted some tassels. This is why we kept this nice and long. I untied the twine from here and unraveled this up to about 4 fingers away from the knot, and tied a piece of cord at that level. Then I trim off the excess macrame cord from the edges, and I also trimmed off right here as well because we don't want the tassel to be uneven. Then I began unraveling all of the pieces from the bottom section here to reveal a nice fluffy tassel. I repeated this with all 3 other sides, and that is it. Let me know what you think. This one is so simple yet so elegant. We're gonna start with this Dollar Tree pizza pan. I'm gonna remove the paper from that, and we're gonna sand it down lightly all around, the front, the back, the sides, everywhere. Then we're gonna wipe it really nicely to remove any of that dust. Then I'm going to take it outside and spray paint it with this Rust-Oleum black matte paint. And I did the back and I left the middle open because we'll be using some of this rope right here at the center. I used about 5 bales of this rope from the Dollar Tree. The first thing that I did was, of course, burn off the fuzzies. I can't stand the fuzzies, guys. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I love the effect of burning dust to it. And I also can't stand the fuzzy. So here you see me adding a little bit of hot glue to the end of my rope. And that is so when I remove the tape, nothing unravels. I have some pieces of the jute that are kind of messy. I'm cutting those off because those are easy to catch on fire when you're burning all the fuzzies. And I repeated that with every single piece of rope I added to this piece. And here you see me adding hot glue to the other end without using any finger protectors. Please don't try this. Use your little silicone things for that, please. My fingers are kind of like silicone at this point, so that's why it's fine for me to do it. Here I'm trying to find the center of the pizza pan, and as you see there, I did a horrible job with it. So here I am trying to redeem myself again, trying to use measurements instead. So once here marking, the center of each one of these lines, I finally figured out, okay, here we go. This is the center. So I'm going to go ahead and just trace a line once I truly find it by measurement. And we are going to just put a small line right there. And that's going to be our starting point. I'm going to take my first piece of hot glue. I'm going to add a little dab of hot glue, and I'm going to take my first piece of rope, I should have said, and we're going to begin spiraling it on top of our glue as you see there. I just kept doing this and added hot glue with every revolution until I completely used that entire piece of jute rope. You see here that some of the jute ropes are shorter than others. Here I'm trying to use up my leftover pieces first, and then I'm going to use the bundles that are brand new. And I ended up using in total about 5 of these bundles of rope. And these are the thinner ones from the Dollar Tree. They do have another version that's a little bit thicker and also shorter. And once I finished doing the entire revolution of the whole thing, I ended with this amount. And then when I had to start with a new one, I just make sure that the previous one was nice and flat. So you see me trimming the end there. And then I added hot glue very close to the edge and also on the edge of the previous jute rope. And then I'm going to try to butt it up together as best as I can, as you see right there, so you can barely see the seam. And then begin to wrap the rope. I began to wrap the rope until I went all the way around. Once I got here to the end, I'm going to overlap it a little bit just so everything is even. I kind of did like one revolution a little bit higher up, and then here I'm cutting it on an angle, but I'm making sure the cut section is towards the bottom of the rope. That way the top will look nice and seamless. And if you see there, I'm doing it in an angle. That way it will taper off and it will look all natural. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add the hot glue as you see there. Keep everything nice and neat. Tack it down, hold it in place until it fully dries. And look at this, it's looking so good, but I'm not done yet. I'm going to take 2 of these handles from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take some E6000 and add it right here where the screws go. I was scared that if I use the screws that it came with, they will not completely be flush and my handles will be kind of wobbly. So I'm going to go ahead and go this route to make sure that everything is adhered. And the E6000 is permanent, so that is fine. So I'm going to add it to both sides right here. And that is it for this project. Please let me know in the comment section what you think about this one. I love it. I know I say that every time, but I do. For this project, we'll be using one of these hanging baskets from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to just go ahead and remove the tag and remove the hanging portion off of it as well. But don't throw it out, put it to the side because you can use it for a different DIY. Now I'm going to take my pliers here and cut off these pieces. I wish I had some tin snips or something a lot stronger. It took me forever, and it took a lot of elbow grease also for me to remove these tags on. I just kept pressing them, and then I just went back and forth and cut them off, and I did the same thing with the other two, but I broke it. But anyway, I took one of these pizza pans from here from the Dollar Tree, and we're gonna remove this tag. And I don't know what kind of goop did they put on there, guys. I don't know. But anyway, I cleaned it off with some glue off, and now we're gonna take some of this Rust-Oleum spray paint and paint it white, the two coats. And now we're gonna bring back our basket. And you see how I told you I broke it? Well, here I fixed it with some E6000, and I tied it in place until that glue dried. Now we're going to come in with more E6000 and add it right here to the edges here that are raised the most at the bottom of the basket. And make sure that I had enough glue on each one of those sections so I have a nice adhesion. Then we're just going to go ahead and position our pizza pan on top of that, making sure that it's nicely centered. I put some weight over it, let it sit overnight. And that is it for this one. Please let me in the comment section what do you think about this project. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode, here are a couple more videos you are sure to enjoy. Thank you so much for stopping by. You're amazing. Bye.